Update. My dad abandoned me when I was 2 and now wants to meet me. I ended up living in 6 foster homes and faced a lot of abuse after my mom OD'd. Does it make me a horrible person to meet him just to tell him how I grew up? Original post. My mom overdosed when I was 4. I was used to her passing out for periods of time, so I just made toast and watched cartoons at first. But on the 3rd day I got bored and went to play at the playground. Someone became concerned and next thing you know they're taking her away and I'm going to stay with some nice people. Well, none of those people were very nice. I could go into details, but let's just say that I was removed from the first few due to abuse. And by the time I was put in a decent home, I wasn't a nice little kid people wanted to adopt anymore. I was too old and an a-hole who hated them because I knew in little kid logic that even though they had red bunk beds and gave me ice cream after dinner, soon they would be like the rest. I eventually ran away when I was 16. My foster dad got mad at me for going in the fridge without asking, and next thing I know, I'm packing my bags because I figured someone would pay me to do crappy work and wouldn't treat me like trash. I'm 24 now and my bio dad friended me on Facebook. We have the same name and he sent me a long message about how he's gotten older now and thinks I should meet my siblings, etc. I hate him. Maybe I shouldn't, but he left me with a heroin addict and went on about his life. He has a family now? Well, cool. I never had one. Not until I grew up and started my own. I honestly think that letting him know I don't want to be his buddy or his son or whatever he thinks he needs would make me feel better. I could stop hating him and resenting him, unload it on him and just move on. I also want to let him know that I lived in an apartment with my dead mom for 3 days, and we didn't have anyone who cared about us enough to come by. I want to show him the burns I have on my arm. I want to let him know that I hid from one of my foster dads every night under my bed and prayed to a God I no longer believe in that he would just leave me alone. I want him to know that I never had real birthdays or Christmases, that I wasn't allowed to go in the fridge in most of those places, and in extreme cases, I wasn't even allowed to leave my room unsupervised. Would this be petty and horrible? Should I just ignore him? Now for the top comments before reading the update. No, dude. Unload on the guy. Give it to him like you just described. He needs to know, and you need to unload. He had 2 decades to come get you, and now that you've grown up, it's too late. You don't need him. You don't need to see him ever. But it will do you so much good just to tell him what he did to you by leaving. Let go of the hate and resentment, and yell and scream and kick over chairs. Also, good job on getting your life together. You should be super proud of yourself. The odds are he left because she was a bee, she wanted the kid, and he might have never known how bad she got, or that the OP was in foster care. All he knows is up to the point of leaving. He may have no details after he left. By all means tell him everything since he did make contact, but the OP isn't going to gain much. Maybe he will apologize for not knowing, but he cannot apologize for what the mom did. I don't think it would be good for either one to have a relationship at this point. They called him to see if he had any interest when my mom died. He didn't, and neither did any of his family. He then signed away any rights he had. And what did my mom do? Yes, she OD'd. But she tried. She fed and clothed me and loved me. She was addicted to a drug and it was a horrible thing, but she loved her son. He walked away, and 22 years later, decided to see how life treated me. As a foster mom, first I want to say I am sorry. I hate hearing that kids get placed in situations just as crappy, and sometimes far worse, than where they are removed from when they should be placed someplace better. Foster care is supposed to provide a place for kids to feel safe and loved, sometimes for the first time ever, and allow for parents to hopefully get their life together so the kids can go home. And if they cannot, well then they are supposed to provide the kids an opportunity to be adopted. As for telling your father what happened to you and how you grew up, think about it first. Are you wanting to tell him so you can unload and feel better? Are you wanting to tell him because you hope it will make him feel bad? Maybe get an apology? If it's the first reason, I say go for it. You need to do what makes you feel better. And if unloading, and maybe even telling him off, he could have found you sooner, especially if he straightened his butt out years ago, he could have. If you're looking to make him feel guilty or get an apology, be prepared for him to not do either. I am not saying he won't, but it's a possibility, and you may feel worse in the long run. That is not what you need, want, or deserve. Just be careful is all I am saying. And if you need to talk, message me. I know there are good places. I stayed in contact with my social worker and she cried when we met up once and said that I was her worst case because I was such a sweet, adoptable little boy and I got the worst of the lot. And by the time she found a good placement, I was too scared for it to be a good place. Thanks for being a good foster mom. You're welcome. It sounds like you wound up with a pretty good head on your shoulders. Be proud of yourself, because it seems like you accomplished that all on your own. Now for the update. I wrote a message. Is this okay to send? I decided I don't want to come off as bitter or angry, but I don't want him to still have hope of some kind of Hallmark movie ending either. Dear Jack, I am 24 years old. I am not the little boy who cried when you left. I am a man with a son and daughter of my own. I've never spent more than a weekend away from them. I am a father and a damned good one. I don't need you anymore. Once I needed you. When my mom died, I really could have used a dad. I could have used anybody. When she died, there wasn't even anybody there. No one cared about us. I spent 3 days in that apartment, eating toast and just waiting for her to wake up. And then they called you, because you were my dad. You were 23. Young, but not so young really. If you had come and gotten me, you would have had a son. I would have loved you forever. But you didn't. So I went to a bunch of people who didn't love me, but liked the check they got with me. It didn't make them treat me well. I have burn marks on my arm, and I still can't spend time in closed-in dark spaces after being shut in closets. An afternoon is a long time when you can't count. I didn't count on anybody. I used to pray, the way Mom did with me when I was little. But after praying for someone to come and rescue me long enough, hiding under my bed, and praying that my foster dad wouldn't come in and would leave me alone for just one night, I stopped believing in most things. I lived in 7 different homes, from 4 to 16, and even the decent ones, I was never family. I didn't have real birthdays or Christmases. I wasn't allowed to go in the fridge and just get food when I was hungry. When I was 16, me and my foster dad got in a fight over a ham sandwich. Boy, what are you doing in our things? And so I left, 16 with nobody to call, and $40. I just walked away with a backpack. Anything could have happened to me. But I made it. I'm a man now, and I don't need you. I don't want you to feel bad. I just want you to know why I can't be your son. I'm 24 and have never been anyone's son. I don't know how, and I just don't have it in me. Jackson. Send him that letter. He needs to know that he failed. He already knows, but I'm up for shaming bad parents any day of the week. Non-parents. Bad parents at least try. Send that. Show him what he did to you. He really messed things up with you. But do you want to meet him just to see what he is like? Honestly, no. I only feel disgust and anger when I think about him. I'm sure he's not the devil incarnate. It seems like he has a stable job and a wife who tags him in posts and 3 kids, who are closer in age to my kids than me, who he is probably a decent dad to. But all of these nice things he may be, he never was to me. Next story. My abusive father wants to reconcile with my sister because she's pregnant, and he wants to be a part of the child's life. Am I the a-hole because I won't let him go near her? I'm 20 years old. I guess I'll start by saying my father abused me and my 4 siblings verbally, mentally, and physically. For as long as I can remember, I've been the oldest son, but I have a sister who is 23. Let's call her Mary. Mary was the only one who got out of the family after my father threw her out at 20 because she didn't give my father enough money. Her salary was $1,200 a month. She put $1,000 on the table every month. Now that she's moved out, she's cut off contact with my father. But since my father found out from one of my aunts that my sister was pregnant, he's trying to make up with her. And since I am the only one who keeps in touch with my sister, he's trying to make up with her through me. But I immediately told my sister that my father wants to make up with her. My sister asked me to keep my father away from her because she doesn't want her child to be a part of his life. That same day, I sat down to talk to my father and told him that my sister doesn't want to make up and that he should respect that. My father started to put my sister down for everything. He said that my sister was an ungrateful bee and that she didn't decide, that he had rights as a grandparent. Then I lost my cool and told him what I wanted. I started to yell at him that I wouldn't let my godchild have the same childhood as us and that if my sister wasn't pregnant, he wouldn't care if she was dead, because my father didn't even ask about her for 3 years, even though he knew that I was in contact with her and that we talked every day. And now the whole close family is blaming me because I wouldn't let my father near my sister. And they say that I'm a heartless animal because supposedly my father has changed. But this is only partly true because he doesn't hit our little siblings. But he still has anger issues, and he breaks and crushes the furniture in the house when he's upset. So, am I the a-hole for not wanting to make peace between them and for respecting my sister's request? Now for the comments. Not the a-hole. Your sister herself said she didn't want to reconcile with your father, period. She made her decision and no one can object to it. Also, the way your father reacted by immediately starting to insult your sister shows that he hasn't changed a bit. Your sister deserves a medal for sticking to her guns. If Dad's reaction was a roast, then he's clearly still in the kitchen of denial. You deserve a medal to OP for protecting your sister. Keep doing that. Your family's wrong. You aren't heartless at all. You're compassionate and doing the right thing. Why are you still in contact with your a-hole dad? I don't want to leave my siblings with him. He has mental problems. My youngest brother is 15. My middle brother is 16. The oldest is about to turn 18. Our mother died when I was 16. There's no one to protect them if my father loses his mind and beats them, so I still live at home. And that's how it goes until all my siblings are 18. Then I'll find a place to live and we'll move in together. I'm proud of you for protecting your younger siblings. I hope they recognize this and remember it in the years to come as well. They know I'm here for them. They love me and they love our sister too. They're really looking forward to the baby, even though they've remained neutral in this family drama because I told them to. They say I'm a better father figure to them than our real father. He doesn't hit our little siblings. Yet. I'm a 6'4" manual laborer who lifts things twice my father's weight every day. He knows if he hits any of my siblings, I'd send him to the hospital immediately. Last story. My aunt and cousin have bullied me my entire life. I told them the truth will eventually come out. They then dared me to post the truth on social media, claiming no one would ever believe me or care. So I did. I don't think they expected the reaction I got. I have an aunt and cousin who have always hated me and aren't afraid to show it. I always attempted to kill them with kindness because I knew the truth would come out someday. Well, the truth came out when they dared me to post the truth on social media. So I did. I got so much support that the post spread like crazy. Here are a few things I called them out on. 1. I took off work and spent $500 to fly to my cousin's wedding. When I showed up, I realized I was the only family member who didn't get a seat at the family table at the reception. Yes, I RSVP'd. So I spent the entire night sitting alone as people walked by me asking why I wasn't sitting with my brother, his wife, and my parents. 2. I adopted my daughter from foster care. I asked them why they aren't nice to her. They said because it's weird for me to bring a stranger to family events. Seriously? Don't attack my daughter for being adopted. She's been through enough. 3. They accused me of not raising my daughter because my mom watches her when I'm at work. My mom gets paid by my daughter's insurance to watch her due to the severity of her special needs. If it wasn't my mom, my daughter's grandma, watching her, then it would be a random staff member watching her while I'm at work. I asked how that differs from having a babysitter. They said, because your daughter is older and shouldn't need a babysitter. Again, my daughter has special needs, and trained staff have to watch her. And I need to have a job. I'm sorry that my mom is willing to watch her granddaughter and my aunt is not willing to watch hers. 4. They told me to stop posting photos of my daughter on Facebook. I asked why they're allowed to post photos of their kids, but I'm not. They said it's because moms are allowed to post photos of their own kids. Again, they don't consider my daughter my kid because she's adopted. 5. They said I adopted my daughter all for show, which is absolute BS. I fostered her before adopting her, and very few people knew because I wasn't allowed to talk about her case. So there was no show there. Not to mention, I'm a single mom who sacrificed a lot to adopt my daughter, and it is not an easy life. Anyone who has adopted from foster care or has a special needs child knows it's hard and certainly not worth the show. Am I the a-hole for publicly putting them on blast after they dared me to? I don't think they expected me to actually do it. I definitely know they didn't expect the abundance of support I would get as people in my small town shared the post. Oops. Good heavens, not the a-hole. They are not healthy for you or your child. No, they are not. I tried to remain civil on behalf of my grandma because seeing a family divide would upset her, but they took it too far when they started attacking my child. So what was their response after you blasted them on social media? Are they being shamed as a result? I really hope so. Not the a-hole. They told me to remove it or they'd sue me. I didn't. Still waiting on that lawsuit. Sounds like they just experienced FAFO. They sure did. They basically said FAFO with a threat of a lawsuit. I told them I'll be patiently waiting for that court order. It's been 3 weeks. Isn't it only defamation if it's not true? If you can prove it, they have no case. That's why they haven't acted on it. They know it's all true and don't have a leg to stand on. Not the a-hole. I love it when crappy people fool around and find out. They got their comeuppance. What's even worse about all of it is they actually don't deny saying or doing any of this. They always try to justify it and victimize themselves. And when they run out of reasonable justification, they say they have a constitutional right not to like me. That's true, so I guess I'll exercise my constitutional rights to LOL.